what's up? My name is Daniela and welcome to a new video. So today we're going to look at how I did with my 2023 reading goals and what are my goals for 2024, if I have any. So yeah, I have my laptop right here with all of my goals, so let's take a look. So I had 7 goals for 2023 and they were pretty specific, and I kept pretty close eye on them throughout the year, which I think is like 3/4 of the success, to just like not forget about your goals if you actually want to achieve them. So yeah, my first goal was to read 30 books. So this was the standard Goodreads number that you put in, and I put it low this year or last year because previously it was around 50, I think, for a lot of the years, but this year I just put it at 30 because yeah, I just didn't want to like put pressure on myself, because yeah, I think in 2022 my goal was 60 and I hit 60, but I was like finishing 3 different books on New Year's Eve, so I just didn't want like that kind of pressure, and I just wanted to put it at a number that I knew that like I would almost definitely hit. And I did read 53 books, so yeah, would have hit the 50 goal, but also like I wouldn't have to, like it was only by 3 books and my reading was kind of like up and down throughout the year. So yeah, I'm really glad I had a relatively low goal and it wasn't something like I had to like worry about like throughout the year. Then the second one was like one of my staple goals that appears almost like every year that I set goals in one variation or other, and it was to read or unhaul all of the books I got before the beginning of 2023. And I did this, and I did even more. By now you might know that I reached 0 TBR in late 2023, so yeah, my TBR was completely cleared out, not only of the books that I got before 2023 but also throughout the year, but like there wasn't that many. I think I wrote it down that I acquired like 15 books in 2023, so yeah, it wasn't a big buying year because yeah, I was clearing out that TBR and yeah, just reading my shit. So yeah, that's another goal checked off. And then number 3 was to read 10 non-fiction books. So yeah, I think in previous years sometimes I had that goal, sometimes I didn't, and I think last year I didn't read that many non-fiction books like in 2022. So at the beginning of 2023 I was like, okay, let's go back to reading a bit more non-fiction, and I thought it was going to be super easy because I was a part of a book club at work, and basically every month or like every 6 weeks or something we would read a non-fiction book usually. So I was like, this is going to be so easy. But then like at some point at the year the book club this was discontinued, so yeah, that went my accountability. So like I barely did this. I did read 11 non-fiction books. It also helped that, you know, I had a couple on my TBR and I was clearing I'm out TBR, so yeah, that kind of came automatically. But yeah, 11. Number 4 was to finish or catch up on our DNF 5 series, always one of the hardest one, and I barely did this, but I did it. So yeah, I did this with 5 series. So I finished the Cursebreaker series by Bridget Kemmerer. I had books 2 and 3 to read, and I also reread book 1 first, and then I kind of soft DNF'd the Wayward Children series by Shannon McGuire. I read books 4, 5 and 6 in the series in 2023, and it's just not giving what I would like it to give. I'm not saying that like 100% I would not read another book from that series, but for now I'm kind of DNFing, so that's a series that's done for me. Then I caught up on a series that I also started this year, and that's the Winner Bakes All series by Alexis Hall. So I read books 1 and 2. There's a 3rd one coming up, but for now I am up to date. The 4th series that I finished was the Kiss Quotient series. So previously I read book 1, and this year I reread book 1 and then read books 2 and 3. Loved it. So yeah, that's a series done. And then the last one I did was the Kiss Curse series by Ellen Sterling. and I read book 2 in the series, and a third one is coming up, but I'm up to date. So yeah, that's 5 series finished, caught up on our RDNF'd. So very happy about achieving this goal. Then goal number 5 was to get through 1 textbooky books. So I have a lot of books here that aren't like a non-fiction, like cohesive text, but are more like textbooks. And this is like books on programming or economics or even like linguistics. And yeah, I have not gone through one. I barely opened like any of my textbooky books. It just wasn't happening. And yeah, it's a bit annoying because, like, you know, I love unhauling books and that I regularly like reassess like every single book that's on my shelves. And with these books, like, I don't want to get rid of them, but also I can't seem to force myself to open them. So yeah, I don't really know what to do with them at this point. But yeah, we will see what this year brings. Number 6 was to read a book in Spanish, and this is another one that I'm super proud of myself for achieving. I started really small, but you know, it counts. Like, I read this tiny little children's book as my first book in Spanish, and you know, I can only go up from here. And then my last goal was the one that wasn't specific and was super vague, but I was just feeling it at that moment, so I included it in the goals, and it was to go after the books I want. Sounds super vague, so I just like added 2 subcategories at the beginning of last year, and it was like, let myself buy a book if I've been wanting to read it for months. Because like sometimes I struggle with this, and maybe that's not like your usual struggle on booktube. Like, a lot of people struggle with the opposite, but yeah, sometimes I struggle with like actually taking the plunge and spending my money on books. And yeah, like as I said, like I only acquired 15 books last year because like I was focusing on other goals and reading the books I already owned. So like, let's say I did not achieve it that much, but with some books I did. Like, for example, like I wanted to read like Delilah Green Doesn't Care, and I remember that like I ordered it like in January, you know, after like thinking about it for months probably. So like I did it with some books. Also, like I read my first Alexis Hall book, which was also something I wanted to do for some time. So I did it with some books, and you know, I don't feel like I was like restricting myself that much, like other than the 0 TBR challenge, which like obviously like is restrictive by principle. So yeah, I kind of don't know how to evaluate this goal, and it's okay. And the second part was like go through the saved post on Instagram with diverse recs. So like a year or 2 ago, I kind of saved a lot of posts on Instagram, and then I never went through them. You know, that's the classic thing with like save things and screenshots, like it's kind of hard to actually go through them. And so let's say I did this, like I went through the post, like it was for Christmas books, and then I ended up reading like Make You Mine This Christmas. So that was a diverse rec from the saved posts. So it's not like I read like a heap from the recs, but I did read like, well, maybe also like Mangoes and Mistletoes would be on those diverse recs. So yeah, I read a couple. Could have read more, but oh well. So basically I achieved 5 of my goals. One of them I did not, and one of them was vague, so it's hard to evaluate. So yeah, pretty happy with the result. And now let's talk about 2024. So I was already thinking about this a couple of weeks ago, and I wrote down some things and I forgot what I wrote. So let's see. As the new year was approaching, I didn't feel like setting like hard specific goals. I think that like throughout the years I kind of did all kinds of goals. Like one year I did like a specific list of books that I want to read. I think that never reappeared after that. And yeah, some of the goals, you know, kind of I had every single year. One year like I was on a year-long book buying ban, and then yeah, some years my goals were super specific, some years they weren't, and on some years, I think like some of the pandemic years, I didn't even set any goals. So as the beginning of the year was approaching, I realized that I don't want to have like hard set goals, but I want to have some intentions instead. So non-quantifiable, not like something you can just like track and check off. Just some intentions on what I would like my reading year to be like, and if it changes throughout the year, that's completely fine. But yeah, I have a couple of items. So first, the Goodreads challenge. I'm really not feeling it this year, like not feeling like setting some like ambitious number, so I haven't actually clicked on it, but I think I'm going to set it at 24. That's like 2 books a month, and also obviously it's 2024, so that could be just like a nice number that like it will show me that I'm ahead. Although like right now I'm not ahead because I haven't finished a single book in January. But yeah, I think I'm that's going to be 24, but like just for the sake of it, because like I do use Goodreads and it would annoy me to like not have anything there, and also I don't want to do like one book. So yeah, I think I'm going to do 24, but actually like this year I don't even care that much. And then for the actual reading intentions, so the first one is to utilize my library for my top picks. So often I will talk about how, you know, reading in English and living in a country that like doesn't have English as the main language can be kind of tricky. Like we do have English books at the library, but there will be only like a certain selection that often doesn't match with my top selection. So, you know, there are books but not my top picks often. But they do have some like books that would be on my top 50. Like there might be only a couple of them, but you know, I can save money and use the library and at least get these couple ones that I actually can. I usually have to put a hold on them because like they're in a higher demand, so that's like I don't know, like €1. So, you know, that's a good price for a book. So yeah, I want to do that, and I already have a couple of holds. So yeah, for example, like Babel came through, so I have that. And then like things like Such a Fun Age, like often it's releases from a couple of years ago that I was interested in and never got to them because like maybe like I'm not like that interested to actually go out and buy them, but like I would very much like to read them. So yeah, getting them from the library is perfect. And yeah, in some years I was using the library like too much, which sounds funny, but I mean it in the sense that I would go there and they wouldn't have my top picks, so I would get like some random books that I kind of heard of just because they were there, but they were not books that I wanted to read the most. So then like one year I had a goal to use the library less, to like motivate myself to get to the books that I actually want to read. And now, yeah, I just want to like find some happy medium to just like, yeah, use it for my top picks. My second reading intention is to catch up on 2023 releases and also read some 2024 releases. So last year I only read one 2023 release, again 0 TBR, so I was reading the books I already had from previous years. So yeah, there are many books that came out in 2023 that I would like to catch up on and just like, yeah, stay in touch with new releases a bit more this year. Next one is continue with series if they seem worth it. So yeah, I will not hesitate to DNF a series after the first book if I think that it's not worth continuing in. But yeah, like I still have some series that I started years ago or last year that I would just like to wrap up. And the last one is check out more books by authors that I've already loved a book from. So that's kind of something that has been at the back of my mind the last few years. Like I need to check out like these authors' backlist, but I never do. So yeah, it's something I want to keep in mind and just like have it there, like, hey, like I have loved a book by this author, like maybe I would love more books by them, you know. Jumping here from the future, because I totally forgot to say that while I was on Canary Islands I bought a book in Spanish. So I bought El Principito, or The Little Prince, by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. So yeah, I will be reading my second book in Spanish in 2024. But yeah, that's it. Continue past Daniela. And then I wrote down some booktube plans. So some of them I will keep private, not like to be like super mysterious, but because like the situation kind of keeps changing, and while I would love to like dedicate much more time and energy to content creation, my top priority for this year is, like life-wise, is to figure out how to make money to live in a way that's sustainable for me and won't cause me to be like on the verge of burnout like half of the time, and also that's fulfilling to me. And my employment in 2023 wasn't either of that, so yeah, we're kind of taking some steps, you know, figuring out how to maybe change that, and that just will be the biggest priority, because like it literally like has to be like, it just you know, influences absolutely everything that I'm able or not able to do like outside of work hours. And then the second one is that I have like a shitload of content ideas, and some of them I've had for years, some of them I scripted years ago and then I never filmed them. So this year I just want to go through them and either finally film them or bury them forever. And yeah, in general, like having mixed thoughts about YouTube, because I do love YouTube. Like, I've been here as a viewer and as a creator for years and years, and you know, it's still a platform that like gives value to my life, and I really enjoy creating videos. But also like creating videos on YouTube takes like, literally it takes multiple hours. It takes a lot of energy, so it's just a lot in my current situation. And also I've been really getting into TikTok again. I'm currently creating like travel and lifestyle content, so if you want to follow me on TikTok, my handle is unladylikeCode, and I will leave the link in the description, of course. So yeah, spending a lot of time on TikTok currently, and yeah, really enjoying creating my little silly videos there. So yeah, that's it for now. Like, these are my reading intentions and my mixed thoughts on YouTube. So far I think that 2024 is bringing some good energy, like in either case an intense energy, so we will see what it brings. Oh yeah, I also want to mention the word of the year for this year. So yeah, for the last few years I've been coming up with a word for the year that's supposed to like symbolize, encompass, just like be kind of the intention that you want the year to look like. And last year it was joy, and when I read that like at the end of 2023, I was like, bitch, where? Although like that was like overly dramatic, because there were definitely like joyful moments in 2023, but it wasn't like totally it, you know. So this year my year is adventure, and yeah, it's really big for me, and I already started with that, with like going on my first solo trip. So yeah, I have several more adventures planned for this year, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, really excited to try to live up to this word. But yeah, that is all for today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel and also my TikTok if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!